Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome if you're new. With the big news of all the assault rifles and the barrels receiving huge, massive buffs to their bullet velocities, I'm sure a lot of you guys are pretty excited about this as much as I am, because I pretty much test out bullet velocities on every single assault rifle and SMG in this game, just to make sure that we're using the most optimal attachment. Because if you guys aren't aware, a lot of these stats in game are pretty much lying most of the time. For example, attachment will tell you that you have 100% bullet velocity. However, that attachment is hitting our target a lot slower versus an attachment that gives us less bullet velocity. So there is some sort of fallacies here within the attachments in Cold War, and that's why I perform these tests, to be able to provide you guys with the best attachments. So if you guys do enjoy the content, a like is appreciated. Let's try to hit a like goal of 300 likes within 24 hours of this video being posted. You guys have been killing it lately. I really appreciate all the support. It really means a lot to me. And make sure to subscribe if you're brand new around here, or you watch my videos all the time but you just haven't subscribed yet. Make it official. Join Turbo Nation today, and let's get on with the video. I just want to show you guys a quick example, and just to help you understand what bullet velocity actually does in game. The higher your bullet velocity is on your barrel, the faster your bullet is going to hit your target. And this is especially helpful for shooting moving targets, because nothing's worse than having a very low bullet velocity and all you're getting is just hit markers because your bullet velocity is just not high enough. So obviously that's going to create some problems and very inconsistent gunfights. We're looking for consistency and what barrel is going to give you the fastest hit detection. So just for example purposes, this is the Fara 83 with no barrel on it whatsoever. So all I want you guys to do is just kind of listen for the sound for when we actually hit our target. So I'm just going to play it here and just listen along. Now, what you're about to see is the Fara 83 with the Liberator barrel, which gives us 100% bullet velocity. So clearly, we should be able to hear the bullet hit our target literally instantly. So this is going to be a game changer. And you know what? I'm just going to let you guys listen to the difference here. Okay, so, it's pretty obvious, why bullet velocity would be very important. So hopefully this gave you a bit of an understanding of, why bullet velocity is important in Cold War, and why it's even more important that you are using the correct barrel. All right, so if you're new to the channel, I always like to show examples of how I actually get these test results, just in case you're thinking that I'm just making up these numbers or whatever. So basically the way I time these is that we have our timer here on the top, and we have our magazine rounds here at the bottom right hand corner. There's 30 right now, and as soon as that drops down to 29, that's when the timer at the top of your screen is going to start. Then I'm going to stop the timer as soon as we get our first hit marker. So here we go. The timer has started. The bullet has left the barrel. All right, I'm still going frame by frame here. And there it is. At 50 milliseconds, we do get our first hit marker right here. So you can tell how well this is going to translate into a real life situation when you're in a gunfight versus somebody who's using a weapon that has very low bullet velocity. You're obviously going to have a better chance at winning that gunfight because you obviously hit the guy first. Here we have in front of you the assault rifle bullet velocity data. So these are basically all the tests that I've performed in the past, including season 2, season 3, as well as today, season 3 reloaded. So we have all of our assault rifles here. As you can see, there are plenty of data here to just be able to compare it to, and just to see if there are any dominant barrels in season 3 reloaded. And then I've also got a rating here that I put here on the side underneath my face cam, pretty much my overall rating of the bullet velocity quote-unquote buff that they put to these weapons. So the AK-47 is the first assault rifle that I decided to make a video on, simply because dude, these buffs are absolutely amazing. Bullet velocity changes everything on the AK-47, so I just had to share it with you guys ASAP. But anyways, we're gonna go over just a quick little summary of it. So back in season 2, the bullet velocity, as well as in season 3, at the start of season 3, was 490. Now it is 702. So what this does is, obviously every single barrel that's available for the AK-47, as you can see listed here, that it does state that it increased that bullet velocity, the hit detection is going to be that much faster. faster. And the reason why I test out these barrels every single update is because they seemingly always change with every single update. However, you know, there are some barrels that do remain within ballpark of each other as far as hit detection goes, but there's always usually that one barrel that tends to stand out after every update. These numbers are just absolutely astounding. This definitely makes the AK-47 a lot more viable now than it was before. This will allow you to engage in longer range gunfights and have a faster hit detection. The average is significantly lower than what it was at the start of Season 3 and also at Season 2. 300, 322, now it's 200 milliseconds. Now, if we're going to take a look at what's the best barrel to use, on paper, the Liberator barrel looks like the best barrel to use. I mean, this is crazy. 78 milliseconds. These are numbers that we have never seen on the AK-47 before, not even past seasons. Right here, 117, 133. So this is a pretty huge change. However, the barrels that I do recommend you guys to use is going to be the reinforced, mainly because with the AK-47, it's got a very short damage range. So if we want it to be viable and compete with other assault rifles in the game, we have to extend that without really compromising our recoil or just other aspects of our game that will just, you know, cause us to lose gunfights. So reinforced barrel makes the most sense to use, even though it has the slowest hit detection versus the Liberator and the 𝗧𝗠𝗠𝗧𝗧, mainly because it just makes a lot of sense. You know, you're going to be limited to one certain playstyle, which is playing up close and personal with the AK-47. Obviously, you don't want to do that. You want to use a weapon that is going to be helpful in all kinds of situations. That's why I do recommend the reinforced. Now, the reason why I rated it better than ever is because before, I would only recommend you guys to use the reinforced. However, with now, you can use the Liberator or the 𝗧𝗠𝗠𝗧𝗧 RPK, besides the obvious point of these hit detections being incredibly faster than it was before. But also, you know, adding these two right here will allow you to make a short range build for the AK-47. This is going to be a monster on smaller maps. All right, so now let's move on to the XM4. So the XM4 was a little confusing to me. So the bullet velocity now is 657 versus 550. So obviously the averages are a little bit better. You know, it's not as great as we've seen in the AK-47. Now, one thing that really did strike me in a really wrong way, actually, was that the extended barrel and the task force barrel were pretty much in line with each other as far as hit detection goes. And, you know, this is what I was talking about earlier, how you can't really trust the in-game stats, because this is going to tell us it gives us 50% bullet velocity and extended gives us 30%. So in theory, obviously, the 50% bullet velocity increase should have a faster hit detection. Well, our averages are basically identical. To add on to that, the reinforced barrel gives us 40%, which is even, you know, slightly lower than the task force barrel, but it actually hits our target a little bit faster at 139. With the XM4, I rated it as acceptable as far as the buff goes to the bullet velocities, you know, because of these two barrels. The extended and the task force, it just didn't make too much sense. You know, if the game is telling us one thing, but the results are telling us another. But with that said, the Ranger barrel, this definitely is the way to go on the XM4. As you can see, that 56 millisecond hit detection is absolutely incredible. We have not seen this in the past two seasons. If you compare it here to the other numbers, 94 and 111, 56 milliseconds is absolutely insane. So Ranger is definitely the way to go on the XM4. All right, now moving on with the Krig 6, there isn't really too much to say here because there is only one barrel that does increase our bullet velocity. However, I will say that the bullet velocity was increased to 686 from 625. So we shouldn't really see too much of a drastic change like we did with the AK-47 as far as results go. So, you know, of course, Ranger barrel is pretty much the only choice that you should be using on the Krig 6. If you're using something else, you're going to be at a huge disadvantage. You're going to get a lot of hit markers, and it's going to be a very frustrating experience, to say the least. So I would say it's pretty much the same as it was at the start of Season 3, but obviously there's a pretty huge improvement since Season 2, as we see here at 83 milliseconds. Now, my grade that I scored this was unsatisfactory, you know, mainly because I wasn't really wowed by anything about the Krig 6 buffs to it. In my personal opinion, I still feel like the Krig 6 is one of the worst assault rifles in the game. I didn't actually get around to testing the QBZ at the start of Season 3. Nonetheless, we have our Season 3 reloaded results right here. And there is a pretty negligible difference here between the two here. So the bullet velocity is now 671, whereas before it was at 625. So again, we shouldn't really see too much of a huge drastic change in hit detection. Now, one thing that really did kind of strike me as odd was that the Ranger barrel, clearly it's the best one to to use right now for Season 3 Reloaded on the QBZ. But if you compare it to Season 2, it was actually hitting a lot faster in Season 2. So that's just one thing that I noticed there. But, you know, across the board, the results are a lot better than they were in Season 2 as far as reinforced and the task force barrel goes. The QBZ, nothing really impressed me too much about this gun after the update. So again, I gave it an unsatisfactory score, you know, as far as, you know, my initial impression after these results. All right, so moving on to the FFAR1. So FFAR1 has had its share of, you know, ups and downs. You know, its bullet velocity was 625 at Season 2. And then at the start of Season 3, it was 705. And then they decided to go ahead and bring that bullet velocity down to 629. You know, I'm not really sure why they keep tinkering around with the FFAR1. Not really sure the reasoning behind it. But I just know that the FFAR1 is just a lot worse than it was before. Even in Season 2, the FFAR1 was a lot better as far as hit detection go. As you can see here at the results for the averages, and you compare it to now, it's just ridiculously slower. And the Ranger barrel is just terrible now. 134 versus 56 at the start of Season 3 versus 89 at Season 2. I mean, the results, you know, the numbers do speak for itself. And also the fact that the max damage increase, as stated in the patch notes, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't change the amount of shots it takes to kill. They can't seem to make up their minds as far as, you know, what they're doing with these weapons here, you know? So I'm not really sure what's going on over there. Anyway, so here we have our Groza. Same thing applies. I didn't get to test it out at the start of Season 3, but this is our Season 3 Reloaded results versus Season 2. The bullet velocity is 660 now versus 650 is what it was before. So again, there isn't going to be a huge drastic change that we're going to see here as far as results go. However, the averages are slightly lower versus what they were before, except the reinforced barrel. The reinforced barrel was the barrel of choice that I was recommending to you guys in Season 2. As you can see here, the hit detection is at 139 versus reinforced at 161. So again, you know, I'm not really sure what to make of this. This stat line right here contradicts what the game is telling us. It tells us it only gives us a 25% boost in our bullet velocity, but it's clearly hitting the target a lot faster on average versus the reinforced, which gives us 40% bullet velocity. Nothing really wowed me about the Groza. That's why I gave it an unsatisfactory grade. And you know, I do want to clarify that just because these bullet velocity hit detection results are not as stellar on some weapons versus others, it doesn't mean that the gun is trash. So I just want to clarify that. I'm just specifically targeting, you know, bullet velocity data here. So I just want to make that clear. All right, so last but not least, we have the Fara 83. Tested out Season 2, started Season 3, and now Season 3 Reloaded. With the Fara 83, hands down, I am very impressed with this bullet velocity increase. Better than ever. As you can see, if you compare it to the previous seasons, our hit detection averages are definitely lower than what they were before, and the Liberator barrel is better than ever, like I was saying, at 56 milliseconds versus 61, and then in Season 2 it was 72 milliseconds. So Liberator barrel is definitely the only barrel you should be using on the Fara 83 if you want to have that instant hit detection. So that's about it as far as my analysis of the best barrels to use in Season 3 Reloaded. If you guys did learn something new, or you guys did enjoy the content, a like is definitely appreciated. I appreciate all the support. Remember, let's try to hit that 300 like goal within 24 hours of this video being posted, and make sure to subscribe on your way out if you haven't yet to make your way back to the channel. And for those who have made it this far into the video, I have a very special surprise for you guys. If you guys are on Battle.net, I do have extra codes to give out, so you guys can purchase the Rambo or John McClane pack that just came out for Cold War Season 3 Reloaded. Absolutely cool stuff, man. I'm a big Rambo fan myself, but I do want to see Arnold Schwarzenegger in the game at some point in time. I mean, I feel like they did my man dirty like that. He would have been so perfect for these 80s movies action hero theme. You know, let me know down below in the comments if you do feel the same. Anyways, I'll put the code on the screen. It's up for grabs. I want you to comment down below, who is it your personal favorite 80s action movie hero? So mine is Arnold Schwarzenegger. Leave a comment down below so I know who the real ones are who made it here to the end of the video. I appreciate all the support, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Have a good day. Yo, if you guys are always on your computer all day, or you like to game for long sessions, definitely check out GamerAdvantage.com for these blue light blocking glasses. Quite literally the best blue light glasses that you can ever find on the market. Make sure to check out GamerAdvantage.com and just learn more about it, man. There's so many benefits to keeping your eyes nice and healthy. You won't feel that strain at the end of the day, and you'll go to sleep like a baby at the end of the day, and that's the best part. You won't feel tired at all. Definitely check out GamerAdvantage.com. Use code TURBO at checkout.